Привет из Дубая. С вами передача «ГолубьМира», где разбираем крутые навыки. Спрашиваем на английском, отвечаем на русском. Подтягивайте язык или смотрите перевод в тайм-кодах. Let's talk about chaos theory and let's start with the definition.
Some things in our world is unpredictable. For example, we couldn't understand in which side school of fish will swim, or how birds will fly, or how ants build their home. So we want to decide, to discover, and to find connections and dependencies to know if we could use it or to be involved in. For example, there are a lot of cars on the road, and they time could stuck or hit each other, and we want to make this going smooth, but how we could help these drivers or maybe these vehicles to go all together without any accidents. So we want to build some dynamic systems which will understand how every agent is doing, and will help to everyone to be more specific, to be accurate, and so on. Or any other things. For example, sometimes we have earthquake and no one know how it goes and where this wave, for example, will flow, which is called like tsunami. Or maybe we'll suddenly have like flu, which will cover a whole continent, or other things. Chaos also could be in a small one. For example, there is small ants which called termites, which could eat wood, and suddenly they will go in direction to your house, and they will eat just your house, but they will not use as a food all other houses or barns. Or for example, you will find that some people have a cancer in their body, and we couldn't find a cure. So we want to know how to establish connection, how to know dependencies in small systems and in huge ones. And until we don't know how to deal with them, we call them chaos. Chaos could be described one or maybe undescribed.
And it's actually quite interesting that you mentioned the car flow because it actually struck me, and I was astonished when I was in Thailand or Vietnam. So like the traffic is they're quite crazy, but there are no accidents. People drive like in whatever vehicles. People actually would carry the entire family there, but still like no accidents. And it seems like there is certain flow, but obviously they didn't speak to each other, so somehow they move. And when it comes to the cows, it actually also sounds quite interesting because like it seems it's unstructured. So the theory actually means that it's something that should be structured. So what should be the approaches into this theory? Like how the mind, I would say like the scientist mind that usually like tries to like put everything into equation would try to even comprehend and like try to start wrapping their head around of the cows itself.
It's very funny, but I will explain several experiments I was conducting, and maybe it will be understandable, which is how to deal with chaos. For example, it was like 10 years ago, and I was thinking, okay, I'm unknown on the Russian market, and how I could be famous. And suddenly I realized maybe the best network to do this is LinkedIn. And I was thinking how to be number one in this great network. At this time, there were like 200 million people there, and all of them are ambitions, and all of them have suits, and they have English, which is much better than mine, even after your lessons and our podcasts. Anyway, I decided that I will find all people who has a great number of connections. I was looking for people who has at least 1 million connections, and I found several lists, and two of them were most connected and top viewed. And I asked these guys to be connected, and some of them accepted. And when I was doing this, I was also trying to understand how people find me, and I was downloading their profiles in number like almost 800,000. And then I was writing some macros in Microsoft Excel, and I found some laws, some equations, and I was implementing them. I was conducting experiments for 90 days, and suddenly I become second and then first. The same thing I do right now in Instagram. Instagram, it's totally chaos. Like 1 billion people there daily trying to post pictures and reels and so on, and how to be notable there, not notorious. And I also find several steps how to do. And right now, daily, I have increasing number of connections, like I don't know exactly, maybe 15. But previously, for 4 years, I have no additional connections at all. So when you have a system where a lot of people or maybe mechanism or machines are trying to interact, you could think, okay, it's chaos, and I could do with this nothing, and this is destructible behavior. Or you could think, what could I learn from this to be more successful in the system? Okay, you couldn't be maybe the most successful, but you could be at least work on level higher than average one.
And it's interesting. So if we look at the chaos as something that not only we maybe would try to understand, but maybe as the flow of the things or events or even the like organizations or groups of the events that brings us something new, meaning that like whatever we do, we could get like unpredictable results, or maybe it could be unexpected. It could like let's say if it comes to business or work or like a life or even the like relationships between the countries, so something unpredictable always happening. So how do we learn to deal with it? And again, I probably could refer to another skill where you were telling us about this, like a trash can approach. Probably it might be something relevant to this one when we do have like a big unknown things, which is unknown thing, which is the world, and how usually we would try to deal with it, how to at least like acknowledge and maybe try to be more efficient, or at least like try to be less wasteful of the resources.
Maxim, to start my answer, I need your help. Please, can you translate me such a Russian saying? Неустойчивая точка равновесия. Unstable point of balance. Okay. So chaos is could work only if you have at least one point of unstable balance. If you have several points, it will be more complicated. Let's talk about huge city. In the city, a lot of people living in their flats, and suddenly they want to go to work, or maybe to have a leisure, or maybe to go to cinema or to restaurants. So everyone is has their own attention, and they moving in different directions. So they use subways, they use cars, buses, trains, and so on. But suddenly you will find that everyone already have the place to eat, to watch, to work, and so on. The same would be with roads. And we sometimes use special agents which will sometimes cut the road for short period. And name this agent is city light. Is it okay to say city light? This is like sветофор.
Traffic light.
Traffic light, sorry, traffic light. So if your company has too many people to work, it will cut the budget, and some people will go on the market. If on the market some people are unemployed, they will agree to work for less sum of money. So balance is the main word in chaos. Everything is balancing when everyone is ready to reduce the потребности,
necessities or
needs. Yes, thank you.
And sometimes, let's say, like when we deal with a house, sometimes we may acknowledge this, we may know how it works, but let's say if we as a single person or maybe as a single company, how do we make a decision how to navigate through it so that, like if we would compare ourselves with a ship, so we're not gonna get to you against the wind, or we're not gonna go under a huge wave. So how do we go through?
When we going on the ship in the ocean and there are not too many waves and not too many winds, we will see each other and we will try to communicate with some signals done by flags, and we will go and there would be no accident. But for example, sometimes it's happened even with planes. Planes should fly on different heights, but anyway, sometimes they hit each other. The same in different system. But when we work in business, we constantly make this accident because you're sitting on your project and you're thinking how to improve your company. I do the same, and a lot of people do the same. And maybe I want to go to your market share. You maybe want to go to my niche. So we will know everything just after everyone will doing a step. For example, you will tell me, I will go to Chinese restaurant. I will tell you, I will go to a Japanese one. But suddenly, after 1 hour, we will meet each other in a pub, drinking just Belgian beer. And why it's happening? You will tell me that you got a call. I will tell you that I meet a friend. So we will sometime meet each other in different places, in business, in personal life, even a hobby.
And maybe now we can talk about like a dark or gray matter or like a territory. Sometimes I do believe you might want to unleash the chaos, whether it's like a local one. So for example, I do believe immune system might be working like that. So you probably produce a little chaos so that it learns how to deal with it. Or sometimes you just needed to, like to get things in order. So how do we go about this if it's needed?
You couldn't be sure that everything will go as you think. So you have a plan, and there is a Russian saying: if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans, and everything will be broken. So if you think, you should understand that not everything depends from you. It depends from weather, from temperature, from humidity, from wind, and from other. For example, if something will be told on the TV, people will run out to buy food, or maybe they will fight for batteries, or maybe they will use to fill all spare cans with gasoline. So you never know what will happen, and you should be well prepared. You should know how to fight, how to solve equations, how to run, how to cook, how to help people who is wounded.
And I do believe this is actually was a nice segue to answering the question how knowing about the chaos theory would make this world a better place. А мы рассмотрели навык теория хаоса, чем он полезен именно вам. Всем мира.